My name is Lora and I've always known God, but when I was younger, I was always forced to go to church. You have to go to church unless you're like 16 or older. You had to go to church. My grandma always brought me. But at the time, it was only a place to meet my cousins so we could play and do Bible study and all that. But we were always involved in the church, but I never took it seriously as far as taking it into my life, and I grew up always had low self-esteem, so I always got into drugs and the wrong crowds. Well, I wouldn't say the wrong crowds because I would never trade the people I've met in my life, but I always did these things and I just wanted to feel like I belonged, somewhere. And then I started having kids and I thought I'd be a wonderful mom, but no, I turned my back on my own kids for drugs, and they got taken from me. And luckily my mom, by the grace of God, she got brought into the church because my brother has always been in the church. He stayed in the church, always, my older brother, Jimmy. And one day he looked at my mom and said, "I don't want to go to heaven and not see you there." So at the time, she really took that into account and she quit doing drugs because we used to do drugs together. And she quit doing drugs and she really stepped up, and then she ended up stepping up for me and my kids. She ended up raising them, but I still turned my back. I was partying all the time. And I would go to church just to see my kids at that point because my mom would always take my kids to church. So I'd just go there as a place to meet my kids. I was feeling a loss of any purpose at all. Like I had no purpose at all. I would just cry my eyes out, "God, please kill me, just take me now," And I would cry so hard. And then all of a sudden, the more I started talking to God when I was crying, then the quicker my tears would dry up. So I noticed that if I didn't just sit there and cry, if I started talking to God, the quicker my tears would dry. And I would sit there and I would apologize to God for wanting to throw his gift in his face, because life is a gift. It's truly a gift. And I would just give me some purpose. Just give me some kind of purpose. My dad needed me. I couldn't be there for my dad. My mom needed me. She's away in Orangeville. I couldn't go see her. And I was just alone. I felt truly alone. My son is out there on ODing on drugs every other day, and I just didn't know whether he was going to be alive from one day to the next. And so I just felt alone, just really, truly alone. That's what the source of my tears was. And like I said, when I started talking to God, the more I talked to God, he'd dry them up. And then I realized slowly that I wasn't alone. But what clarified that for me was that's why I truly believe that he sent Nathan in that store boasting about Jesus, because I needed him. The difference Jesus has made in my life in the last 3 months is he's given me that reason to live back, no matter what it is, even if I can't even understand it myself. He's giving me that joy to spread back. He's giving me the ability to put things aside that used to be reasons to cry for me. But then I realized that's no reason to cry. I've got Christ in my life. All I need to do is spread his word, spread the fact that he loves people. So now that consumes me now more than anything else. I'm going and letting people know, skipping around and letting people know God's good, come to church, woohoo. And that's what difference he's made in my life, is I'm able to not be so angry and not hold grudges and not curse so much and curse the heavens, I don't do that anymore. I just want nothing for anybody but love, even when I'm mad at them, and I don't judge people like I did before, which people do in human nature. He's changed me in a lot of ways as far as my spirit goes. He's lifted it completely. I was so heavy before, like I was like a magnet to the earth, but now I feel lifted up. I feel sometimes like I'm floating on a cloud, Just, I talk to him all day long now, I talk to him all day. Makes me feel good. Makes me feel good. Tell him everything. I apologize for every little, thing I do. I feel him in my heart all the time now. I appreciate you and the church and God and everyone, so.